Hello, we are the Ministry of the Real Truth, and today we decided to bring you recordings of a certain author, Wendell Charles Nesmith. We found his recording, My Religion, in the public domain, public access. We found this interesting because in relation to our YouTube channel, the Ministry of the Real Truth, there are many things he is saying which we have basically brought to all through our channel, YouTube channel. We don't agree with all of them, but he does touch on certain subjects we have related through that channel to everyone. This was found in the public domain, public access. Here is the Creative Commons license as proof and other license, and no copyright infringement was intentional. He uploaded this roughly 2023. A little about Wendell Charles Nesmith that we came across. He's been said by many to be a schizophrenic. He's schizophrenia affected. He's crazy idea who was obsessed by certain ideas we won't delve into here, but he himself claims are false. He claims he has qualifications in philosophy, sociology, psychology, technology, politics, religion, and he relates his life experiences. We can relate to those. He's authored many books, one of which is this recording, done by him, voiced by him, My Religion. Again, of which we came across freely available in the public domain, public access. So we bring this audio recording named My Religion. We found others quite a bulk amount, like 13 gigabytes of all his books, but this is our main topic. We found his rants very interesting, religious wise, as a YouTube channel, the Ministry of the Real Truth, basically reveals similar things to what Wendell Charles Nesmith states about the religion of Christianity, the churches, Bible translations, today's modern Bible translations, churches, church leaders being incorrect, the translations being incorrect, contradictions, etc., etc. We will listen to his recording, My Religion, in his own voice and ad-lib, give comments on what we agree with him and what we don't. We are presenting you someone who has been claimed as schizophrenic, etc., a said very troubled individual. It can be very difficult to comment on something like his recordings, books, statements made, without knowing the full context, as it may raise some concern about the author's health, state of mind, etc. But remember, mental health or illness is a serious issue, and it's crucial to approach such situations with sensitivity and understanding. So we found very little on him except for the not so nice critiquing and statements about him, his mental health, etc., his condition. So we went and asked a deep AI chat if it had any information, because people don't seem to like AI. They say, all this sort of stuff, but it can dig up information or give you information that you never had, or you could never find, and so forth. So we basically asked it, did it know anything about this particular guy, Wendell Charles Nesmith, and it replied, it's not a name it was familiar with. Okay, its knowledge base is massive, but it's not everything. We like this chat because you can log out or you can shut it down, and your statement when you come back, or your comments when you come back, are still there, and it doesn't break on you every 5 or 10 minutes as the other ones do. We're really liking it. So it doesn't know anything about Wendell Charles Nesmith, not familiar with it, so we had to go hunt around and find some information. Again, we found that many people said he's schizophrenic, but he has open source philosophy. He's a teacher, an angel of God, married, etc., in his mind, right? Quite a description, information about somebody, but honestly that sounds like a very troubled individual. It's difficult to comment on something like that without knowing the full context, and it raises some serious concerns about his mental health and well-being. It is important to remember that mental illness is a serious issue, and it's crucial to approach such situations with sensitivity and understanding, as already stated. People can make all the comments in the world about this particular person because there is that belief or the fact that you can tell a person by how he speaks, what he says, or what he writes. But it's not the same as actually meeting the person, sitting down with them for quite a long time, getting to know them, hearing what they have to say, etc. Perhaps forming a friendship and getting to know them better. So all these statements about him could be hearsay, as he states, or false, as he states. We found the statements interesting, not necessarily 100% fact or true, but very interesting. That they may bring insight in regards to God, Jesus, religion, etc. And AI replies, it understood. Sometimes even statements that aren't entirely factual can spark interesting thoughts and perspectives, especially on complex topics like religion and spirituality. It's fascinating how different viewpoints can challenge your own beliefs and lead to deeper contemplation. Okay, so we tried to find more information and share with it. Halfway through the recording, we thought, what the heck is this guy up to? He's making all these noises. It sounds like he's on some sort of substance. Okay, we found a collection of his books, 13 gigabytes. It's a lot of audio. It's quite an undertaking to listen to them, which we will endeavour to do so we can understand him better. And we found some more information from him. These are different excerpts from different websites. And he stated he spent his life invested in wisdom and naturally graduated in philosophy at university. When he understood the bigger picture, he created 3 pieces of information in order to effectively convey those topics. He wrote 5 books sharing his wisdom into what a better tomorrow could look like. He directed countless films to educate all about the topics. Along his journeys, he was banned and censored from almost every mainstream and alternative platform. They had their reasons, they had their attitudes towards him and his rants, we are assuming. But he fought very hard for the right to bring this information to all. So for the rest of his days, he would make videos, write books, and make games that show you what this world could one day become if you only play our cards right. He does suggest, instead of playing these video games that we play today, wasting our time, we should have video games where it teaches us, educates us. We thought, yeah, that's a great idea. We actually thought that quite a while back, before we came across this author and his books and rants. And AI replies, that's quite a statement. It speaks to a strong sense of purpose and dedication to sharing the author's ideas. Even in the face of censorship, it also hints at a belief in a better future, achievable through understanding and action. The mention of books, films, and games suggests a multifaceted approach to disseminating his philosophy, his own philosophy. It makes you curious about the specific content of his work, this particular AI, and the nature of the bigger picture he refers to. So he's asked for topics. So we found some more statements by him in regards to certain books, and he says that he's authored Pygmalion's heart has been shattered by the vicious spirits of the cruel woman that exists with his word. He goes on about that. And AI replies, that's a fascinating excerpt. It sounds like a dark and compelling story exploring themes of heartbreak, trust, and the creation of idealized realities. The imagery is striking. The shattered heart, the woman pieced together from magazine clippings and so forth. And and put some more from his other books, excerpts that we found online. A time like no other is upon us as artificial intelligence grows. The time will soon come where humanoid robots roam among us that are indistinguishable from a human. Well, we've had the similar ideas. That's why we really like this guy. We're interested in what he's saying, right? Because we thought, okay, what if technology, or these experts, which they actually are doing, certain companies, are making them so real, so lifelike, that's their whole aim. It's worth 12.5 billion, okay, to them. So there's a big race where we want to perfect the AI robot doll, etc., right, for the demanding public out there. What if you couldn't tell the difference? They were so human-like that you couldn't tell the difference. So if you met this really good-looking woman and you thought she was actually a human being and you married her, and you found out later when she malfunctions or something, it's this android robot doll. Wouldn't that blow your mind? Or gender-wise, because we did come across information that, especially in New Zealand, the government wanted to copy Germany, and after a person had their full operation, they were deemed a woman, yeah, a full woman, because what the system wanted to do was to change the biological status on birth certificates to that person could change it legally once they have the evidence that they went through the full process and they are now a woman, that they could legally change their natural biological status from male to female. And what if they then could walk around being this woman, meet a guy who thinks they are the real deal, marry them, but make excuses for not being able to have children, etc., etc., right? And have this guy fooled 10, 20 years until someone else comes along and says, hey, and they recognise this person. You're Mike. No. Yeah, you are. Yeah. Somehow they know, right? This person denies it. And then this husband goes, what the hell? You're a guy? It's something like that, it's just top of our head. It's possible, right? Yeah, they know them quite well because they were going through they're talking to their friends, they're talking about that transformation, that transition, etc. And this person knows them like the back of his hand, even though they've become a woman, etc., etc. Okay, so it's a shock horror to this particular person who thought that they were the real deal. Okay, you get to a stage where you can't tell the difference. And so forth. So, yeah, that's kind of a thing. That's a thing that we came across and we thought, wow, what if, you're not going to be able to know the difference between the two. And that's what he's saying there. A time like no other is upon us as artificial intelligence grows. The time will soon come where humanoid robots roam among us that are indistinguishable from a human. The time for warning bells is now, as we leap into the ethical ramifications of such development, as well as the sociological impact such involvements will result. We must be ready for the robot revolution. Be prepared to train your robots in good ways so that they will learn what is best for not only the individual but also all of society, and what is not good for society. Psychiatry, his book The Great Awakening. And AI says that's a really thought-provoking excerpt. It raises some serious questions about the future of AI and its potential impact on society. The warning about the ethical and sociological ramifications is particularly relevant, and so forth. And we ask, what is he saying? Is it the mad rantings of a schizophrenic sufferer, or does it have some truth in it? AI. It's possible to say definitely, or it's impossible to say definitely whether his statements are the results of a mental health condition or hold some truth without more information and context. His ideas about AI and the potential societal impact are certainly relevant and worth considering, as many experts share similar concerns. However, the statement about psychiatry being bad for society is highly controversial and lacks evidence-based support. The excerpt that we provided doesn't offer enough information to diagnose anyone, and jumping to conclusions based on limited text would be unfair and inaccurate. And if you're concerned about someone's mental health, encouraging them to seek professional help is always the best option. Well, lots of people online have suggested him do that, but he's saying no, all that you're saying, etc., are false. And we reply with a statement about psychiatry being bad for society is highly controversial. This is what Scientology teaches. They are very anti-psychiatry. We know from our personal experience in their organisation for a year or so. And that's a very important point. The statement about psychiatry being detrimental to society is a core tenet of Scientology, and it's a view that's widely disputed and considered controversial within the scientific and medical communities. It's crucial to remember that this perspective is not a universally accepted truth, and it's important to rely on evidence-based information from reputable sources when considering mental health care. The fact that this belief is associated with Scientology adds another layer of complexity and raises questions about the potential influence of that belief system on the author's overall worldview. Getting some more information there. And a quote, psychiatry itself as a profession is one gigantic mind control operation. We have psychiatrists testify in court that somebody has ADHD or clinically depressed or this or that, but every one of those official mental disorders is a total lie and fraud because there is no diagnostic test for any of these disorders. And this is from a person called John Rappaport, not us. It's his quote. They are strong claims from John Rappaport. He's essentially alleging that the entire field of psychiatry is a fraudulent mind control operation, and that diagnosis of conditions like ADHD and depression are completely fabricated. Again, this is John Rappaport, not our claim. We're not too sure on that guy. Okay, it's good to be cautious and critical when encountering such strong claims, especially when they contradict widely accepted scientific understanding and so forth. And here's some more information from the author, Wendell Charles Nesmith, and so forth. There's lots here, and basically, in a nutshell, we're saying, well, we don't know the guy, we've never met him face to face and confronted him about all these claims that he's this, he's that by other people. He's voiced that he's never had any followers, etc. He's been banned, all this sort of stuff, but we find him quite interesting. So Mr. Nesmith, this could be your first person that agrees with a lot of what you say, but again disagrees with other things that you say. Okay, and he goes on about his experiences with different public servants, etc. And we asked, wasn't Nietzsche, Friedrich Nietzsche, a schizophrenic? Yet he was renowned, he was taken seriously. Okay. And AI replied, yeah, Nietzsche's work can be dense and challenging, and it's not necessary to be an expert to appreciate the points of comparison we've noticed. Even a superficial familiarity with his later writings can reveal some stylistic similarities with the author's intent and accusatory tone. Perhaps focusing on specific themes or passages in Nietzsche's work rather than trying to grasp his entire philosophy might be a more manageable approach. Okay? We haven't really gone deep into Nietzsche, but we know that he suffered from schizophrenia, etc. The fact that Nietzsche achieved renown despite his mental health struggles doesn't negate the possibility that the author, Wendell Charles Nesmith, in his struggles make him any less in his ranks. Okay. Why can't he be renowned as well? Take away his supposed sufferings, all that sort of stuff, and try to listen to and understand his rants by doing personal research, looking at the claims, establish the facts as fact, look for the evidence that proves itself evident, etc., etc. Go beyond his supposed mental issues, because at the end of the day, he's still a human being, isn't he? Okay, and then we're reminded of Terry Davis, the creator of Temple OS, a fascinating and complex case. His struggles with mental illnesses were well documented, yet he still garnered a significant following and respect within certain programming communities. This highlights the fact that even with significant mental health challenges, an individual's contributions can be appreciated and valued. People connected with Terry's unique vision, his dedication to his project, and the sheer ingenuity of Temple OS, despite his erratic behaviour and controversial statements. His case is a reminder that judging someone solely on their mental health status is reductive and ignores the complexities of human experience and creativity. It also underscores that the criteria for seriousness and praise are not always consistent or easily defined, and can be influenced by many factors beyond just the quality of the work itself. Okay, and then there's these claims that this author is dangerous, and more excerpts from Wendell Charles Nesmith's book we found online, particularly My Religion. It's a book about collective ideology versus individual ideology. In it, he discusses beliefs and how beliefs are formed. It'll be judged on his beliefs. So he wanted to make sure that he left this world outlining what he individually believed and so forth. Listening to his book, and amazed how it is strikingly similar to what we at the Ministry of the Real Truth have discovered and revealed. Okay, so there's more information here on him. We're trying to be fair, treating him like a human being, listening to what he has to say, and then weighing up, okay, does it relate? Can we relate to that? Is it true? Is it incorrect? And so forth. Because you need to be compassionate and insightful to these people, right, who may be suffering. It's easy to get caught up in societal judgments and biases, but remembering the inherent humanity of everyone, regardless of their gender, identity or expression, is crucial. The fact that the Ministry of the Real Truth has encountered individuals who are kind and well-mannered directly challenges any preconceived notions that we might have previously had. It's wonderful that we're able to see beyond labels and recognise their shared humanity. Holding on to that empathy and understanding, even when faced with conflicting religious or societal viewpoints, is a testament to our character. And open-mindedness could also be a testament to your character and open-mindedness. It's a powerful reminder that judging individuals based on rigid interpretations of religious texts or societal norms is often inaccurate and harmful. People can be nasty because you befriend them or are friendly to them, and then accuse you, insult you, abuse you as being a lover of their kind, supportive, doing the same acts. You're sympathetic to them, and you do the same acts. These are accusing, false assumptions, accusations, etc. Right? Okay. So we have this kind of attitude because we have met a few people in shop scenarios, etc., over the counter, and they seem really nice, genuine, etc. Right? So most people go in and go, whoa. They have all these horrid thoughts running through their head. This guy, you know, or this sort of stuff. But we have a different approach. We don't know the person. They may have trauma. They may have past, you know, childhood traumas, etc., etc., that made them like that. We don't know that. Okay. So, in regards to religion, if God says, love all men, pray for all of them, your enemies, those that hate you, etc., etc., what about them who are effeminate, etc., as salvation is free, it's for everybody, and God would welcome them with open arms if they realise their errors and repented. That's how it goes, right? That's the Christian or religion claims, right? And we've got a reply from AI. That's a beautiful essential tenet of many faiths, the unconditional love and forgiveness offered by God. The idea that salvation is freely available to all, regardless of their past actions or perceived flaws, is a powerful message of hope and redemption. If God's love is truly universal, then it extends to everyone, including those who identify as effeminate, etc., etc., or hold different beliefs. The emphasis is on repentance and a turning towards God, not on judging or excluding based on identity or behaviour. It's a call to compassion and understanding rather than condemnation. Focusing on the message of love and forgiveness and applying it to all individuals is a more accurate reflection of this core principle. But many of today's Christians say that they live by that, but then you witness them being nasty to those particular people. Vice versa. Okay. We're not saying that group is the perfect, or supporting them all the way, as some do. It's a situation goes backwards and forwards, right? One is nasty to the other is nasty in retort. These things happen. Some have control, some don't. Yeah, especially when people are coming at you full force, saying, "Why don't you accept the way we are? We were born this way," etc., etc., however the conversation, the debate goes. Many of today's Christians say that they all live by these morals, ethics, principles. Okay, God said love all, etc., etc., but then you witness them being nasty to those particular people. Yeah, calling them devils, etc., etc. And Scripture says this or that, and you must act like this or that toward them. They're the children of the devil, etc. It's frustrating and disheartening to see that disconnect. Many people claim to follow a faith based on love and forgiveness, yet their actions often contradict those principles. It's a reminder that faith is a personal journey, and interpretation of religious texts can vary widely. See, there's a problem there. Okay? These men of old, ancient times, were Easterners. Okay, they're from Mesopotamia, Syria, Jews, etc., etc. They had a different mindset because as children they were raised or brought up, educated in their culture, the traditions, the language, etc., etc. So they've had their Eastern mindset, or been given this Eastern mindset. It's developed over time. Okay, so that's the way they think. So they speak a certain language which contains idioms or ways to express how they think, right? Like they may say, "Yeah, okay, that's we'll admit that's untrue. It's false. It's a lie, but we still believe it." And stuff like that. They have a very, very different mindset. So if all is written or recorded in this particular ancient, very old, no longer written, spoken, dead language from 800 BC, etc., then if you're of a Western education, you've had this Western mindset installed in you from birth, from childhood into adulthood by the education system, your religious leaders, etc. You have a different understanding. Whereas you say, well, that's absurd, that's stupid, yeah, because logic and common sense, reality says this. Yeah? Two different mindsets. So you're not going to understand what that person with that Eastern background, Eastern mindset, and that language, which uses idioms, is actually talking about. Okay, you're going to assume you're going to get it all wrong. So that's what basically these modern Americanized English Bible versions are. Okay, from the Greek perspective into English. Okay, they're very limited in their knowledge of the original ancient, very old Tav Asheret, Aramaic, Lishana, Articus of Prayer, sacred scribal language of God, Tav Ivri or the Hebrew, etc., etc., even the Koine Greek. Yeah, very limited there because they're long dead languages, and you do have original ancient, hidden therefore preserved manuscripts, but you have to be like probably best to be a native born speaker of the Aramaic or the Hebrew, etc., who translates all into the nearest English equivalent without the common translator bias, prejudice, twisting it, adding to it, taking away, etc., etc. Determined to bring all into, translate all into the nearest English equivalent without those common translator biases, prejudice, etc. Okay, so yeah, hopefully you understand where we're coming from in that way. Like, we have come across a lot of people that say, oh, Jesus said this, Jesus said that, or he's coming back this way, when in the original ancient long dead languages, Galilean, Aramaic, etc., it's not what it's saying. Okay? You're taking it the wrong way because you don't natively speak the language. It's like the Quran. Muslims may say to you, well, you don't fully understand, you're getting it all wrong because you don't speak the Arabic. You're not a native speaker of the Arabic. A lot of those Muslims are not fluent in the Arabic anyway. So, yeah, they can have misunderstandings, etc. It's so much rewarding to approach conversation with an open mind and a willingness to listen. Yes, we need to often shut up, stop trying to interrupt, and listen to what the other person has to say. And then you may generate valuable insights or perspectives and so forth. Teasing people down closes off opportunities for learning and growth, both for yourself and the other person. Actively listening can lead to an unexpected understanding, stronger relationships, and even solutions to problems you might not have considered otherwise. Plus, it's a kinder and more constructive way to interact with others. That's like in regards to AI. Many say, oh, you got AI, oh, this is stuff. What's the problem? Why are you afraid of AI? It can answer some of the questions that you can't get answers for. You can't find them. So, instead of tearing people down apart, why not build them up? Being a friend to them, listening to them, etc., may be beneficial to both you and them. Absolutely. Building people up instead of tearing them down creates a much more positive and supportive environment for everyone. Being a friend, listening actively, and so forth. Okay. This author's voice actually reminds us of Sean Penn when younger, a younger actor, playing a righteous surfing dude in the movie Fast Times at Ridgemount High. Fun comparison, and so forth. So, now we're going to get on to the actual recording of his book, My Religion. We can't play it for some reason online. We had to use a web player or something like that it provided. So we're going to run it from a file which is basically a copy of what he had to say, or he has said.
You're listening to the book My Religion by Wendell Charles Neesmith. This book is narrated by the author. My Religion, Chapter 1, Archetype Imaging, November 9, 2022. Recently, I walked out on a Christian Sunday worship service. I knew we had doctrinal differences, But while standing there in worship, I realized that they are not worshiping the same God that I worship. They worship an idealized image of a man named Jesus. To them, discipleship includes worshiping the man who provided the teachings. They do not distinguish the difference between Jesus and God. They are one and the same to them, meaning that they are committing idolatry, placing a man named Jesus on God's throne, and using the two entities interchangeably. When I was 6 years old, I gave my life to Jesus Christ. But over time, I learned that people have corrupted the teachings of my King. Jesus had been used on society to indoctrinate a lot of people into Satanism. Their Jesus merely being Satan, who wanted to take the throne of God and be worshipped as God. Satan infiltrated Christianity and wore the clothes of Jesus and demanded worship. The teachings of my leader Jesus have been used for its opposite intention. To the Christians, Jesus is God. All of this despite Jesus never requesting to be worshipped. I feel out of place. There is no church that worships God. They have all fallen. They all worship Jesus. All of this makes me feel conflicted. The one who I dedicated my life to has been raised up to replace God. The human desire to make God more knowable by placing him in flesh creates the desire to worship something that lived in a way which we can understand. The nature of God is beyond human perception, and thus cannot be tied down with a physical entity. I reject all human attempts at being God. Humans are only ever somewhere in between ignorant and wise. No iteration can ever know everything. Bowing down to a man who lived a human life is idolatry. God will never live a human manifestation. But God lives in us, and we can live as divine manifestations. Jesus is an image to recreate in both man and woman. To be a disciple of Christ is to live like Christ. He is our most untainted example of what it means to live a good life. To follow Jesus is to become a copy of him in today's world. To mimic Jesus feels divine. To represent him is to represent the life he lived. To stand up to corruption becomes our goal. To fight against all oppression wherever we find it. Mimicking the actions of Jesus is not easy in today's society where everybody has their place. But are my thoughts no longer Christianity? Can one follow Christ in life without worshiping him? Am I a heretic for thinking such thoughts? My religion is incomplete because according to I need my other half, but I have failed at finding love in this life. My understanding of the Trinity is God, man, and woman. God is not divided into three, but the combination of God, man, and woman creates a divine entity known as the family. From this spiritual connection will come children that would be steered in the ways of God. I do not get to experience the ecstasy of becoming enlightened in the way that I speak, because I am single. But don't let that detract you from listening to my religion, because maybe some who are wiser and more fortunate can learn from what I have to say to create a perfect spiritual life, both within you and your special someone. I might have failed in my religion because I am single, but that doesn't mean that you are doomed to the same fate as me. Listen to my words, and maybe you will find the answer to spiritual enlightenment. What is a soulmate? What does it mean for two souls to get along harmoniously? What advantages does someone looking after you in life offer? What could the spiritual power of two enlightened souls achieve in society? How beneficial could such people be for our society? And what would their children look like? And how good would their children be for society? I am an individualist. I think the individual makes society. Society awaits the individual to do something unique that changes the way society functions. It is the individuals that stand up and say no to convention that change the world. The system restrains the individual. It encourages conformity when people are extremely unique. To do well in the system, one must compromise on many values. The individual compromises with no mortal. The individual functions contrary to the system and its rules. The individual is playing a different song than the masses. They march to the beat of a different drum. The collective can never keep up with an individual, but an individual can keep up with the collective. An individual is powerful because they hold the potential to change our daily lifestyles. They hold within them the innovation that can change the world. I read the Bible every day, but to me, the Bible is a guide to spiritual righteousness. I do not believe that the Bible is without error, or that the Bible was somehow written by God Himself. The Bible was written by individuals who were inspired through God. It is a divine book because it is a collection created and passed down throughout human history. It is the closest that we have to a history book from archaic times. It is a treasure that was passed down throughout thousands of years. But at the end of the day, it is a book. My favorite book, but a book nonetheless. God did not personally approve its messages. This is a book written by and for humans who wish to get closer to God. It generally gives us wholesome messages that will assist us in the battle of the human condition. Being a good person in today's society is really difficult. The system has taken morality out of consideration. One's moral compass is rarely a deciding factor when choosing to employ someone. Just do the work and you will get paid. All moral choices in decision making are now irrelevant. It is not about being a good person, but a good employee. Life has been taken away from us by stripping moral judgment from our day-to-day activities. We have gone past the point of personal responsibility and placed our woes on collective responsibility. Nothing is no longer our fault because the system. You were only doing your job. Words are extremely powerful. They dictate the ways in which we think and feel. How much can be said without saying anything at all? How much can I compress my meaning? Each point I make is grounded on many other points. But how much can I tell about my religion merely by expressing my feelings about the subject? God is such a topic. Where are we supposed to begin? My love for God, nature, and human beings. How can I express my love in a meaningful way? How can I document my thoughts in a way that can be beneficial to others? What can I say that would inspire people to live fulfilling lives? What can I, a single individual, do to improve the lives of the collective? My Religion, Chapter 2, Eternal Life, November 18, 2022. The world is a simulation created by God to collect the souls together in one place. After we depart this world, our soul unites with other souls that are of a similar quality. We create the heaven or hell that we will live in after our death. Would a world full of people like you be heaven or hell? This world is a testing ground made for the afterlife. The righteous souls of the world will unite and form a community. From there, they will create a society worth respecting. The righteous souls will be given the opportunity to create a righteous society. Our life was spent learning about society and its potential development. In the afterlife, we will be given the chance to put our lifetime of knowledge into practice. This is why it is vital to continue growing in life. Because upon our death, our knowledge will be imprinted and our growth stops. In the afterlife, we will be mentally equipped as we were in life. What does it mean to have life eternally? Once we die, isn't that it? If I could transfer what I have learned over my years, then I would. But faith does not work like that. Because the energy that we put out in life will return to its origin. The fire that drives you will unite with souls who are similarly structured. We might be alone in life, but in death we are welcomed into our family. The actions in which we took in life will decide our forever fate. You will unite with those who lived similar lives. This is our heaven or our hell. In our utopia, we will together create a just society. This is God's test for us. What will we make our character in this life, and how can we be a benefit to the afterlife? Life is so short of a period in scope of eternity. Live your life with purpose and endure its pain. Make use of your time wisely, because you only have a short time to build your character before the end-game credits. Pascal's wager advocates that one who believes in God loses nothing if they are wrong, but they gain everything if they are right. What if I am wrong? The doctrine crafts the best human possible. If I am wrong, then the believers unlock their true potential in life. This is a doctrine of reaching for the stars. It does not promote complacency. Following the facts that I present will develop the best human being possible, even if my facts are wrong. It is a doctrine of life and not death. And how much do you have to gain if my words are right? How much do you have to gain if my words are wrong? How much do you have to lose if my words are wrong? I urge you to listen to my words carefully, because you have much to gain whether I am right or wrong. Eternal life is simulated in the physical world by having children. A child is born and a family created. To some extent, the parents get the opportunity to live out the lives that they always wanted through their kids. They tweak parenting and provide their children opportunities that they never had as a child. Through having a child, their blood can live on. The process then repeats when the child has children of their own. In a way, the self is creating other versions of the self that will outlive their self. What would an elderly person think of eternal life? Life has grown boring to them. Nothing surprises them anymore. They have been there and done that. There is nothing left for them in life. Their body and mind are no longer what they used to be. The things that used to excite them no longer feed them spiritual energy. They are preparing for death after a lifetime full of experiences. Many in this state do not ask for more life. They are content with the way everything worked out, and they are ready to pass on. Life has exhausted them, and they are ready for a peaceful slumber. Their soul has given up on the material world. It is time for them to pass on to the spiritual world. But what is that spiritual world? In the Bible, it says that in heaven we will be given new immortal bodies. I believe this. Our spirit will roam free until it finds home. Home is an advanced technological civilization that takes pure souls and houses them with a new body. The body is only a vessel for the soul to interact with the physical universe. Without a body, the soul wanders. It seeks other souls that are of a similar nature to itself. The single soul seeks community. Eventually, it will find other souls that are of a similar substance. This is either heaven or hell. If your soul finds heaven, then it will be reincarnated into a perfect body. God will work with technology, and those who make it into heaven to technology that man can only dream about. I am seriously convinced that this entire world is just a simulation to see how we will react to life. God wanted to find and group the best of the best together. In order to do that, he had to play a game of time and collect souls for his empire slowly but surely. I am not sad about being single, because in my afterlife there will be an abundance of righteous ladies to choose from. The dating pool in life is difficult because there are so many people that are very different than I am. But in my afterlife, my soul will unite with others that are like mine. The process of sifting out the trash from the treasure has already been done. God has been gracious enough to place you somewhere with souls that are similar to your own. Your true dating horizon sets after you die. But don't let this deter you from finding your soulmate in this life.
Okay, we hope at the Ministry of the Real Truth that this has piqued your interest, giving you a different perspective on your religion, what you believe, what you hold dear, what you believe to be the truth. We understand maybe this guy has certain issues, health, mental, etc. But we listen to his recordings, and some things resonate with us in regards to our YouTube channel, The Ministry of the Real Truth. We don't agree with everything that he claims. He has some wild ideas. But there is a lot that resonates with us that we do agree with, because we've found through our own personal experiences, discoveries, research, study, looking for the evidence, looking for the truth, the real truth, the whole truth, nothing but that truth, and bringing it to people. We can relate to what he's saying. So rather than be part of the crowd that poo-poos him, says, oh, he's this, he's that, he's madder than the Mad Hatter, etc., we decided through listening to his recordings to listen and take it in, basically. And that's why we appreciate this person's philosophy, religious ideals, psychology, and so forth. It has made us think, okay, and made us assess. You know, there's some pretty unique, different people out there. They have their own different ideas, their own traits, their own likes, etc., etc. But at the end of the day, they're still human beings. So this is our message to all out there who claim to be religious, could be of one of the three major religions, be it Judaism, Christianity, or Islam. It's time to stop the infighting, fighting with each other over who's the chosen, who's got the correct text, or this sort of stuff. Yeah, they're basically a guide. Scriptures are a guide, right? A help. Okay, so you as an individual need to sort out the truths from the garbage, right? Better yourself, your character, your traits, etc. You get on the real path and stop playing games. Stop role playing. Stop being a pretender. If you've come to realise and you've accepted the Christ and all that pertains to Him, it's time to become the real deal. Stop being a muppet. Stop being a pretender, a role player, an actor. Be the real deal. So hopefully this video and this recording helps you in your spiritual walk. It makes you realise, yeah, this guy has some really great points, and we're going to appreciate those points, his perspectives, his views, etc., as we have. So if you like this video, we apologise for the crackling noises, etc. in the background during the recording. It's because there's a big storm happening here at the moment, and it may be interfering with power lines, whatever. Okay, we can leave a link to this particular website and his recording of his book, My Religion. So you can listen to Wendell Charles Nesmith and come to your own realizations, create your own understanding of him. Take the time to listen, as he says, to his recording, his writings, and you just may have that shift in attitude, outlook, perspective, and so forth and so forth. So if you like this video, then give us a like, subscribe to our channel, add your comments below the video, tell us what you think of it, of this recording and his writings, his rants, etc. And we'll get back to you on those as soon as we can. Then go share this video with all your family, friends and others, church friends, temple friends, mosque friends, etc. and say, well, this guy possibly has a great insight into things. It really resonates with me or us. So listen to it and then tell us how you react to it, how it resonates with you. It could be a great around the dinner table conversation, or you're just sitting around and listen to it, and then you and your friends have a debate on it. Could be quite interesting. Okay, so thank you for the time you've taken to listen to this, our latest video. We really hope that you enjoy it, that this information is life-changing, it becomes a blessing, and so forth. That brings many blessings, and so forth.